Chapter 1. The morning of my wedding should have felt perfect, but my hands would not stop shaking. "You look like you're about to run away," Lily teased as she fixed my veil. I forced a laugh. "Maybe I'm just scared." "Scared? That this happiness isn't real." She squeezed my hand. "You've waited a long time for someone who truly loves you. Ethan isn't going anywhere." "I hope you're right." A knock came at the door. "Ready?" Noah asked as he stepped inside. "Because everyone is waiting, and Ethan looks like the happiest man alive." "You've already seen him?" He grinned. "He keeps asking where you are. I think he's afraid you'll change your mind." "I won't." "Good. Then let's get you married." As the music began, I walked down the aisle. My heart pounded so hard that I barely noticed the guests. All I could see was Ethan smiling at me. "You look beautiful," he whispered after taking my hands. "So do you." The minister spoke, but his words faded into the background. I only heard Ethan promise to love me forever. "I do," I said without hesitation. "I do," Ethan replied. When everyone cheered, I believed I had found the life I always wanted. Later, during the reception, Ethan wrapped an arm around my waist. "Mrs. Carter," he said softly. "How does it feel?" "It still sounds unreal." "You'll get used to it." His wealthy uncle, Victor, walked toward us with a glass in his hand. "Welcome to the family," he said. "Thank you." His smile never reached his eyes. "You've chosen a good man," Victor added. "Take care of each other." "We will," Ethan answered before I could speak. Victor nodded once and disappeared into the crowd. I watched him leave. "Your uncle seems serious." "That's just how he is." "Does he like me?" Ethan laughed quietly. "He likes control more than people. Don't worry about him." I tried to believe him. That evening, after the celebration ended, Ethan and I arrived at a quiet beach house for our honeymoon. He opened the door and smiled. "This is ours for the week." "It's beautiful." "So are you." He kissed my forehead. "I want one thing from you." "What?" "I want us to forget everyone else." I smiled. "For 1 week." "For much longer." I laughed because I thought he was joking. Looking back, that was the first warning I chose to ignore. I woke early the next morning and found Ethan making coffee. "Good morning," I said. He smiled. "Come here." I hugged him. "This feels nice," I whispered. "It will stay nice if nobody gets between us." I pulled back. "What do you mean?" "I mean people always give bad advice. Married couples should solve their own problems." "That's fair." He handed me a cup. "My phone keeps buzzing," I said. "You don't need to answer it now." "It's probably Lily. She can wait." His answer sounded harmless, so I placed my phone on the table. Later, I reached for it again. "I'll just text Noah." Ethan gently took the phone from my hand. "Let's enjoy our honeymoon." "I only need a minute." "You have me. Isn't that enough?" I laughed awkwardly. "You're being a little dramatic." "I'm being honest." He returned the phone, but something inside me felt uneasy. That afternoon we walked along the beach. "I've been thinking," Ethan said. "About what?" "Your job." "My job?" "You work too hard." "I like my work." "You don't need it anymore." "I still want it. I earn enough for both of us." "I know, but I enjoy being independent." He stopped walking. "Don't you trust me?" "Of course I do." "Then let me take care of you." His words sounded sweet, yet they felt strangely heavy. I'll think about it, I replied. He smiled again, and the tension disappeared as quickly as it had come. That night we ate dinner on the porch while the waves rolled onto the sand. This is perfect, I said. It can stay perfect. What does that mean? It means we don't need anyone else. You really don't like sharing me. I waited too long to lose you. His answer made me blush instead of worry. After midnight, I woke because I heard his voice. I slipped out of bed and walked toward the living room. The lights were off. Ethan stood near the window with his back to me, speaking quietly on the phone. Everything is under control, he said. A long silence followed. Then he laughed. No, she has no idea what she's walked into. My heart stopped. Who was he talking about? Me. I stepped backward, trying not to make a sound. The floor creaked beneath my foot. Ethan turned his head. Who's there? He called. I held my breath in the darkness, praying he had not seen me. Chapter 2. I stayed perfectly still until I heard Ethan's footsteps moving away from the window. Must have been the wind, he muttered. A moment later, the bedroom door closed. I waited another minute before I finally breathed again. My hands were trembling. Had he really been talking about me? When I returned to bed, Ethan was already lying down with his eyes closed. You okay? He asked softly. Yes. You were gone. I wanted some water. He smiled without opening his eyes. Come back to bed. I lay beside him, but sleep never came. The next morning, Ethan acted as if nothing had happened. Good morning, beautiful. Morning. You seem quiet. I didn't sleep well. He touched my cheek. Too much excitement from the wedding. Maybe. He kissed my forehead. I'll make breakfast. While he cooked, my phone rang again. The screen showed Lily's name. I reached for it. Ethan looked over his shoulder. You can call her later. She's probably worried. She knows we're on our honeymoon. It'll only take a minute. He walked over and smiled. I promised myself this week would belong to us. His voice stayed calm, but I felt pressure behind every word. I let the call end. Thank you, he said. Something inside me whispered that I had made a mistake. That afternoon, we drove back home. The large house looked beautiful from outside, with tall windows and colorful flowers. Inside, it felt strangely quiet. A woman around 60 greeted us at the entrance. Welcome home, sir. Maria, Ethan said. This is my wife. She smiled politely. It's nice to meet you. You too. Her eyes rested on me for a second longer than expected. I've prepared lunch. Perfect, Ethan replied. During the meal, Maria barely spoke. Whenever I asked a question, Ethan answered before she could. How long have you worked here? I asked. Many. Almost 10 years, Ethan interrupted. Maria nodded silently. After lunch, Ethan carried our bags upstairs. Maria quietly collected the dishes. I walked into the kitchen. The food was wonderful, I said. Thank you. She looked toward the hallway before speaking again. If you ever need anything. Her voice faded. Ethan's footsteps echoed from the stairs. Maria immediately lowered her head. I should finish cleaning. Before I could answer, Ethan entered. Everything all right? Yes, I replied. He smiled. Good. I don't like secrets in my house. The words sounded casual. For some reason, they made my stomach tighten. That evening, I unpacked my clothes while Ethan watched from the doorway. Leave those, he said. I can finish. I'd rather help. He folded every shirt with careful hands, then picked up a dress. I don't like this one. I frowned. Why? It's too revealing. I've worn it for years. You don't need attention from other men anymore. I tried to laugh. It isn't for other men. I know. He smiled, but his eyes stayed cold. I'll buy you better clothes. I nodded because arguing suddenly felt exhausting. The next morning, I reached for my laptop. I should check my work email. Ethan closed the screen before it fully opened. I thought we agreed you would quit. I said I'd think about it. You don't need strangers telling you what to do every day. My job matters to me. I matter more. His words left no room for discussion. A few hours later, the doorbell rang. Lily rushed inside and hugged me tightly. There you are, she said. You haven't answered your phone. I've been busy. She stepped back and studied my face. Are you okay? I'm fine. Her eyes dropped to my arm. A dark bruise had formed where I had bumped into a table the day before. What happened? I quickly pulled down my sleeve. I slipped. You've always been clumsy, Ethan said with a warm laugh. Lily smiled politely, but I could tell she was not convinced. I'll call you tomorrow, she whispered before leaving. I'll be waiting, I replied. You don't need visitors showing up without asking. She's my best friend. And now I'm your husband. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about Maria's strange behavior. I walked through the quiet hallway, hoping a short walk would calm my mind. As I turned a corner, I noticed a wooden door at the end of the hall. A heavy lock hung from it. I stepped closer. Then I heard it. A soft cry. Someone was crying behind the door. Hello? I whispered. The crying stopped. My heart pounded. Is someone in there? Before anyone answered, a hand landed on my shoulder. I gasped and spun around. Ethan stared at me without smiling. What are you doing here? He asked quietly. I thought I heard something. You heard nothing. His voice stayed calm, but I felt danger hiding beneath every word. He took my hand and led me away from the locked door. Some doors, he said, should never be opened. I looked back one last time. For the first time since our wedding, I was truly afraid of the man I had married. Chapter 3. I barely slept after Ethan pulled me away from the locked door. His words stayed inside my head. Some doors should never be opened. The next morning, he acted as though nothing had happened. Good morning, he said with a smile. Did you sleep well? Not really. You worry too much. Maybe. He poured coffee into my cup. I have meetings today. So I'll be alone. Maria will be here. He leaned closer. And stay out of the west hallway. I forced a smile. I wasn't planning to go there. He kissed my forehead. I knew you'd understand. The front door closed behind him. I counted to 60 before walking into the kitchen. Maria stood at the sink. He's gone, I whispered. She froze. You shouldn't talk to me. I heard someone crying last night. She looked toward the empty hallway. Please, I said. Tell me the truth. Her hands shook. I can't. Why not? Because he always finds out. I stepped closer. I'm scared. She closed her eyes. So was I. Before I could ask another question, she slipped something into my hand. It was a folded piece of paper. Don't open it here, she whispered. Footsteps echoed outside. Maria quickly picked up a plate. I'll finish the dishes. Confused, I walked upstairs. Inside the bedroom, I locked the door and unfolded the paper. 3 words were written in uneven handwriting. Don't trust him. My heart raced. I hid the note inside my pocket just as Ethan called. Everything okay? Yes. I forgot a file. I'm coming back inside. I shoved the note into a drawer. When Ethan entered, he smiled. I knew I'd forgotten something. He picked up a folder from the desk. His eyes swept across the room. You look nervous. I thought you had left. I did. He laughed softly. You missed me already. I forced myself to laugh. Something like that. After he finally drove away again, I found the note exactly where I had hidden it. That evening, Maria knocked quietly on my bedroom door. I only have a minute, she whispered. What is happening? You deserve answers. I deserve the truth. She nodded. There was another woman. I felt my stomach tighten. What do you mean? Another wife. I stared at her. You're lying. I wish I were. She reached into her apron and pulled out an old photograph. My hands trembled as I took it. It showed Ethan smiling beside a beautiful woman wearing a wedding dress. Who is she? I whispered. Maria looked straight into my eyes. Her name was Emily. Before I could speak again, the sound of Ethan's car entered the driveway. Maria's face turned pale. Hide that picture, she whispered. And whatever you do, don't let him know you asked about her. I slipped the photograph under my sweater just before Ethan walked through the front door. I'm home, he called. I took a slow breath. I'm in the kitchen. He walked in carrying a small box. I brought your favorite cake. You didn't have to. I wanted to. He studied my face. You still look nervous. I'm just tired. He smiled. Then let's have dinner. I nodded, hiding the photograph against my side until I could return it to my room. That night, after Ethan fell asleep, I locked myself in the bathroom and looked at the picture again. Emily looked happy. She looked exactly the way I had looked on my wedding day. What happened to you? I whispered. The next morning, Ethan left early for another meeting. As soon as his car disappeared, Maria hurried toward me. You still have it? I showed her the photograph. Tell me everything. She lowered her voice. Emily lived here 3 years ago. Where is she now? No one knows. Did she leave? Maria slowly shook her head. I don't believe she did. Cold fear spread through my body. Why didn't the police investigate? They tried. What happened? There was never enough proof. Before I could ask another question, the front gate opened. A woman stepped inside, wearing a plain jacket and carrying a small notebook. Maria whispered, That's Detective Sarah Collins. The woman walked toward us. I'm sorry to arrive without warning, she said. May I speak with you privately? I looked at Maria. She gave a tiny nod. We sat in the garden, away from the windows. Sarah looked directly at me. I've been watching this house for months. Why? Because Ethan's name keeps appearing in old missing person cases. I stared at her. Are you saying he hurt Emily? I'm saying Emily vanished shortly after marrying him. My throat felt dry. There must be a mistake. I hoped there was. She opened her notebook and showed me copies of old reports. There were other complaints. None could be proven. I don't understand. Ethan is careful. I love him. Sarah's expression softened. I believe you loved the man he pretended to be. Tears filled my eyes. I don't know what to believe anymore. Then don't trust words, she said quietly. Trust facts. Before leaving, Sarah handed me a small card. If you're ever in danger, call me. That evening, I walked into the dining room, trying to act normal. Ethan was already sitting at the table. A familiar photograph rested beside his plate. He tapped it gently with one finger. Were you looking for answers without me? He asked. My heart stopped as I realized he knew. Chapter 4. My eyes stayed fixed on the photograph beside Ethan's plate. I couldn't breathe. He smiled as if nothing was wrong. Sit down, he said. My legs felt weak, but I obeyed. Where did you find that? I asked. He tilted his head. I think the better question is where you found it. I don't know what you mean. Don't lie to me. His voice stayed calm. That frightened me more than shouting. I was cleaning, I whispered. I found it by accident. He picked up the photograph. Emily liked to ask questions too. My hands tightened beneath the table. What happened to her? He smiled again. She left. Just like that. Some people aren't meant to stay. I wanted to ask more, but fear sealed my mouth. He stood and walked behind my chair. His hand rested on my shoulder. I love honesty. I've always been honest. Good. He leaned closer. Keep it that way. After dinner, he followed me upstairs. I have something for you, he said. What is it? He handed me a small velvet box. Inside was a beautiful gold necklace. It's gorgeous. I knew you'd like it. You didn't have to buy me anything. I take care of what's mine. The last word echoed inside my head. Mine. Not wife. Not partner. Mine. The next morning, I reached for my phone. There was no signal. I frowned. Ethan. He looked up from his newspaper. Yes. My phone isn't working. I cancelled your service. I stared at him. You what? You don't need it. I use it to talk to my family. You can use the house phone. I walked toward the table holding the phone. There was no dial tone. It doesn't work. I had it disconnected. My heartbeat sped up. Why would you do that? He folded his newspaper. Because outside voices create problems. My brother will worry. I'll tell him you're busy. No. I stepped back. I'll call him myself. You won't. His smile disappeared. I said you won't. Silence filled the room. I had never seen his eyes look so empty. He stood slowly. I don't want to argue. I do. I know. He walked past me and unlocked a drawer. Inside were my phone, my laptop charger, and my passport. He closed the drawer again. You'll get these back when I know I can trust you. I stared at him in disbelief. You're treating me like a prisoner. No. He looked directly into my eyes. I'm protecting our marriage. For the first time, I realized I might not be able to leave this house whenever I wanted. The front door closed behind Ethan just before noon. I hurried to the window. His car disappeared through the gate. Only then did I breathe. I searched every room for another phone. Nothing. Every drawer was empty. Every cabinet held only ordinary things. Who plans a prison so carefully? A soft knock came from the kitchen. I found Maria waiting beside the back door. He left, she whispered. Yes. He won't stay gone long. I need help. I know. I lowered my voice. He took my phone, my passport, everything. Maria nodded sadly. That's how it started before. Before. Emily lost her freedom one piece at a time. My chest tightened. I have to get out. You will. How? She reached into her pocket and handed me a tiny digital recorder. Keep this hidden. I stared at it. What am I supposed to do? Record him. What if he finds it? He must not. I slipped it inside my sleeve. I'll be careful. Before Maria could answer, tires crunched outside. He's back, she whispered. She hurried away with a basket of towels. I walked into the living room just as Ethan entered. I forgot another file, he said. I forced a smile. You seem forgetful today. He laughed. Maybe I'm distracted. He stepped closer. Did anyone visit? No. Did you leave the house? No. His eyes searched my face. I believe you. I hated how relieved those words made me feel. That evening, I turned on the recorder while Ethan poured wine. I've been thinking, he said. About what? Our future. I have too. I don't want you visiting your family for a while. I kept my voice steady. Why? They don't respect our marriage. They love me. They fill your head with doubts. They're my family. I'm your family now. The recorder captured every word. I prayed it also captured my racing heartbeat. After dinner, Ethan went upstairs to shower. I quietly slipped the recorder inside an old book on the shelf. The next morning, I heard voices outside. I looked through the curtain. Noah stood near the front gate. I just want to see my sister, he called. Ethan blocked the entrance. She's resting. I'll wait. There's no need. I'll decide that. I wanted to run outside. Instead, I stood frozen. Ethan glanced toward the house. Our eyes almost met through the window. I stepped back before he could see me. Minutes later, Noah drove away. I covered my mouth to stop myself from crying. That afternoon, Ethan found me sitting quietly. You seem upset. I miss my brother. You'll thank me someday. I don't think I will. He smiled without warmth. One day you'll understand that fear keeps people loyal. The word sent a chill through me. At that moment, I knew I wasn't living with a difficult husband. I was living with a monster who believed love and control were the same thing.